on the national stage, the Sixers and Nets game didn't get talked about enough, and that's what we're going to talk about with our first topic here. But the next day, I was watching to see how much that was going to be talked about. Didn't get talked about at all. I think ESPN used it as a First Take used it as a way to talk about Kyrie getting a new contract in Brooklyn. They didn't even talk about the game.
It was a segue. Really, it was an opener.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think with KD injured, it kind of, from a talking standpoint, it kind of takes some luster out.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, well, the Sixers should win. KD's not playing.
Yeah, and the first time we played them, it was a detriment to KD. They talked about it as like, wow, is this Brooklyn team done? They're losing to the reserves of the Sixers.
Yes.
But if we did lose that game.
But they talked about it, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was drama involved.
But if we lost to the Nets the other night, it'd be a lot more to talk about.
Yes. Yeah. Negative sales.
Yes. Okay, so we'll begin with talking about this Nets and Sixers game. So obviously, extremely intense game from the jump. 7 technical fouls, 63 foul shots in the game, and just a lot of chippy moments, a lot of stills that people will share forever with Simmons or Embiid posting up Simmons. After the game, Embiid said he looked to dominate who was in front of him, just like any other night. But Doc had to say this after the game. Quote, "There's a difference between intensity, playing with emotion, and being too emotional. We were on the wrong side of that a lot tonight. It's good to have emotions. You want to have intensity and emotion, but you don't want to be emotional." Obviously, the guys were intense, but do you agree with Doc that we were too emotional on a Tuesday night?
I don't really know if emotional is the right word. I would say it was personal. It felt personal to me. I don't think, I think guys play with emotion almost all the time. Some games are bigger than others, so you won't have a little more enthusiasm, and even the fans are different in some games versus other games. But it felt personal. Some reasons we may know, some reasons we may not know. But it's guys that didn't play with Ben Simmons that it felt personal. So which leads me to think you just don't know what's being said on the court. You don't really know the conversations that are being had, or between players. I mean, because Embiid's biggest blow up was against Claxton, not Ben Simmons, to me.
It's true.
So and he said something that he shouldn't have said, but whatever that was. So that's my thing. It's just that game became personal, because if someone says something you don't like and you confront them, that to me that isn't necessarily emotional. That's checking somebody. That's personal. I'm checking that dude for what he said to me. So I get what Doc is saying, but I would say it's a little more personal, like issues with people or team or whatever.
Well, whatever you want to call it, intensity, emotional, personal. I loved it. It was great. It was really entertaining. It was maybe the most engaged I've seen the Sixers as a team this season. And I think it was one of those games that really helps the team come together. Like, you fight together or you fall apart, right? I mean, I just feel like you get everyone on board together. It was like the Simmons and Embiid cat chokehold. Like, when I saw that originally, I was like, because there was only questions about Simmons not getting along with people and people not gelling. So when I saw Simmons putting Cat in a chokehold in defense of Embiid, I was like, dude, yeah, I love that's great. He's one of the guys. He's willing to go into the trenches and fight, right? That's kind of like this. Like, you saw Niang like fighting with Simmons, and what they didn't even play together. So it was like you just, it's a camaraderie. I hate who you hate. I like who you like type thing for the most part. and I was totally wrong on this being another game when we talked about this on the last show. It was not another game at all. I underestimated some of Embiid's pettiness, I guess. Embiid definitely took the game personally. There was no question about it. You don't always dribble. I'm sorry. We were just talking about the Hakeem in the paint thing. You don't always do that.
No, he doesn't.
You don't always back someone down the way you did against him. You saw a limping antelope and you attacked him.
And that was personal.
And you didn't like it. Yeah.
He backed him down more than he did Royce O'Neal at a couple occasions.
Yeah. Joe Harris when he had to switch. Anyone when he switched on, they were all mismatches. Yeah. But I think you're right though. I think at one point, I think Claxton overtook Simmons on his like shit list. I think he wanted to like get him more than anyone. And Claxton's a little more formidable. But yeah, I see what Doc's saying. I like us to be in check a little more. I think part of that was frustration towards some bad calls. It wasn't all like Nets related. The Kyrie slipping call was awful. Yeah. He just fell.
And I think Joel was engaged and it was personal, but I don't think he particularly played it well.
No, he didn't. Was he 6 of 18?
The free throws helped him.
Oh yeah, I mean, Claxton's numbers were just almost as good.
Yeah,
they're better. He was, I think, 10 of 11.
No plays.
Yeah. He had some like crazy flip ups that went in. I was like, God, how are some of these going in? But yeah, no, the Kyrie foul was bad. There were a bunch of offensive fouls called on us when like either Simmons was just bear hugging someone or someone was getting pushed in the back. There was a lot of that kind of stuff. And I think that made it even worse. I think we kind of would have went with it depending on what the game feeling was. But Brooklyn kind of came out of the gates shoving, giving some forearms. We're like, all right, you want to play like
Brooklyn
that?
Came out like they tried to punk him.
Yeah. And they were like, okay.
Like they really, that's how they came out there. So that's what I'm saying. That's personal. That's not emotional.
I think we kind of reacted to that. I don't think we came out thinking,
they think this is sweet. Oh, they think this is sweet. About the guys.
Yeah, I think we were like, we were gonna actually just play basketball tonight. You want to do that kind of stuff? All right, well, watch this now. Tie your shoes tighter, pull up your shorts a little bit, tuck your jersey in, and let's go do some stretches. But I'm glad they got out of their system a little bit too. I like that they played that way because Doc, I think, said what he said also to set it up for the future. Like when you face this kind of adversity, when you feel like you want to like clock someone, don't keep it in check. I think it was more about the future.
That's true. You know, now that I totally see you. Like you got to keep your emotions in check because we don't need technicals. We don't need guys getting suspended or kicked out of the game. Like that, I do understand. And the way it's going, this could be a team that we see in that second round.
Oh yeah,
or first round.
Definitely. And if we do with KD on the court, who's one of the masters of talking shit, there might be suspensions in that series, man.
There's masters of backing it up.
yeah, he is. He does. I loved. He was tweeting during the game, and I was loving it because he wants to be out there. I also found it funny. I told Marcus, I was like, I love how he said, "Man, I wish I was out. I wish I was out there talking shit to Embiid and Harrell." It was like. I love it. Harrell's like one of the guys that he wants to like talk shit to.
Because it's a history there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Like you really just don't always like people act like we know what you just don't know what guys say.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if we do play them again, we're gonna have to definitely keep our emotions in check because that will be a really
because you can't tell me it's not personal for Seth. And
he plays well against us consistently since we've.
He does, man.
And he's always chirping and looking at the bench.
Mm-hmm. He kept him in that game. And multiple times. There were multiple times where we got it back up to like double digits and then like boom, Seth hit like 2 threes in a row back to back. And it was like, oh man, like So but yeah, it was great. I love that. I love that game. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I think it was at the end of the first quarter is when they showed Simmons like blow a kiss to our bench. That infuriated me. If that's getting me, man, I can't imagine a player seeing him throw a blow a kiss at me. Oh man,
That bothered you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were watching. I was like, did he just blow a kiss? And like, because it went to commercial break right after that. So I rewinded it and like we slowed it down. It was like you saw him blow a kiss. So I was like, dude, that's.
I can guarantee you, whatever they saying is worse than them blowing a kiss.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes. Yeah, that really did actually. Yeah, that really infuriated me. It's funny. It's funny though. It goes back to. I remember that clip, which I hated at the time because he played for us when we played the Bucks, and Giannis bullied Simmons and dunked it, and he said he's a big baby, just a big baby. I never really got that until he went to the Nets, or until the way he left the Sixers. But now it all makes sense now. Like I go back to that, and I'm like, man, I know exactly what he means. Like I was like, what does he mean? What does he mean? Like he just bullied him, but like I think it's even more than that. Like it's just, man, yeah, blowing kisses, man.
Two more games against Brooklyn. February 11th, we travel to Brooklyn. I think that might be one of the last games before All-Star break. If the dates are correctly, February 11th is Saturday. Probably the last like weekend before. And then April 9th, we play them again at Brooklyn. So two more games, two more.
I'm probably going to that game.
That probably most guys probably if it's settled by then, that could be a big game, and that could be a game where no one plays.
I'm hoping they all play because I'm probably.
Is that the last game of the year? It got to be the last game or next to last game.
I think it's second. I think it's second to last, if I'm not mistaken. It's at the tail end though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It could be a game that's needed for playoff positioning, or it could be a game
that is the last.
But
one.
no one plays.
Oh, it's the last game.
Yes, last game of the season.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
The way the seeding's going, they're going to play. Right now, at least, the way it's tight.
Yeah, I wouldn't think it would be within the game by the time it's now. It may be within a game for one team.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it'll be within the game for those particular teams, both teams.
Yeah,
I think the seedings will be set by then.
You think so?
Yeah, I believe so.
And Simmons might not be playing in that game based on what we saw last night. Jock Vaughn rolling his eyes, saying he has knee soreness. So you may not see Simmons in that game, Tej.
Oh man,
that's rough, man. Knee soreness after getting like touched on the face.
What do you make of that, Eric? When you saw Jock Vaughn's press conference with him rolling his eyes, saying knee soreness, what do you make of that? Just that glimpse right there.
I mean, I think it was, if I'm taking it from older coaches that, Jock is actually younger than me. I'm just saying, but coaches that he played for, that we played for in the league, it was always a give me what you have. Like your 70, 75% is better than maybe someone else's 80 or 95%, or just try to play. But I think in Ben's case, it's almost like he took himself out, if I'm right.
Yeah. No, he walked right to the locker room. And
so if he took himself out, and if a doctor go in and say structurally everything's good, most guys would be like, all right, I'm going to go back out there.
Is knee soreness like the miscellaneous general I can't play tonight thing that no one can really dispute?
I mean, I guess, the one thing I do know about injuries, you just can't talk about someone else's body like they're the ones that know. So what may be knee soreness for him, may be knee pain for some, and maybe nothing for some of us. Just so you just can't question it because you really authentically really don't know.
Yeah, it's a little unfair to do that. I agree.
We'll see if this is, I didn't hear anything about an MRI or him having any structural damage. If that doesn't happen, then we don't know, because I didn't even see the injury. I don't really know if it was something
there wasn't.
I'm just saying, I don't know if it was something that happened before that. Is what I'm saying. I've seen that particular play, but was there something that aggravated before, and then that particular play made it worse? Like that's the part, like you really don't know. Like, so that could have happened.
Yeah.
All I know is,
he was 0 for 1 in that game. And a Nets fan on the thread said, I watched him all game. He didn't move. He didn't do anything. There's no reason for that knee to be injured.
Based on Jock's reaction, it did come off as if, not that he's necessarily faking, but that it feels like
he's not buying it completely.
No, and I wouldn't really say that he's not buying it. It's almost like he still won't try to play. Like we feel like he still could have played. That's kind of the vibe I got from the conversation. Like, we didn't think that this was something that he should have not tried to play from.
But Kyrie said recently they got rid of all the halfway in guys.
I wouldn't necessarily I wouldn't say he's halfway in. I think he's all the way in.
In what, the locker room?
Yeah, I think he's all the way in. I just think that
he's all the way in the locker room when everyone's on the court is what he is.
Man, everybody's not built the same, man. I know you tougher than Marcus, right? The baby ain't tough as you, man. He ain't been through what you've been through. He's spoiled, man. See?
Yeah.
Y'all come from the same fabric, and he's still not the same as you.
I mean, it's true. Yeah.
That's what they say about me and my older siblings, but I'm just assuming y'all say that about Marcus.
Yeah, they think I'm soft for sure.
Yeah, I was spoiled, and they say the same stuff about me too, Marcus. Don't feel bad. Let's own that.
Yeah.
Let's own that being spoiled.
He's soft, but he's a little scrappy bastard on the court. He'll grab your jersey. He'll do all the Stockton tricks. Grab your jersey, tug on you a bit when you're trying to get away from him. He does all that stuff.
Oh, okay. Got some tricks.
Yeah.
You call it tricks. You call it something else.
Hook the arm and put your hands up.
Hook the arm. Yeah, that's the old Rodman right there.
Most people just call it foul.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, he's got the Draymond Green pick where he just rolls up like this and it just comes out and tries to move you out of the way like a pulling fullback, pulling guard. All that. Yep.
Hey man, all 162 of him. He's got to do what I got to do, man.
So he seems like a guy you would want on your team, right?
Yeah, I certainly don't call fouls when I'm on his team for it. That's for sure.
Exactly.
But after last day, you mentioned Kyrie. Kyrie did. A lot of people are taking Kyrie's post-game press comments a little bit towards Simmons based on what he said after Jock's comments. But quote, I show consistency to continue to work on my off days and before the games. They continue to prepare at a high level. People are saying he's insinuating that other players on the team aren't doing that. They aren't showing consistency.
People love insinuating Kyrie's comments, don't they? He has to be the most insinuated player in the NBA on every topic. Like, people just love taking.
Yeah, he's probably talking about a particular guy, but we don't have to necessarily say it's Ben.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, that's for people to say it's Ben. It's the history. Like, you got to be talking about Ben.
Yeah,
we don't know if he is though.
And Ben was a guy that Vaughn just pretty much didn't play hardly the fourth midway to the end of the fourth quarter, like 8 minutes on.
Yeah, apparently that's a trend though, because I've been reading. I thought that was something just against us. Apparently, last 5 or 4 minutes of games, they've been taking Ben out of games that there was some kind of they were close in, which is something that Doc got shit for, taking him out in the fourth quarter towards the end of his time in Philadelphia. Yep. So it's funny now that's becoming a normal thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know, like, with Ben, like, it's just still interesting to me that people don't even take fouls on.
Yeah,
I know.
That's how they probably feel his limited impact. Like, they don't. It's like no one fouls him. They just let him shoot. Like, that's like really interesting to me.
I know. That's going to happen a lot in the playoffs, though.
Without a doubt. And that's why it's going to be different for him, because he's not playing through that this whole year. Like, no one's trying to play in one game and go to that. But later in this year, when teams start fighting for seeds, you'll see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.